Hello folks, it's Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk about something. I'm going to steal a line from the Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Most of you guys are like, holy crap, Scott, it's only July, August, I want to kill you. Winter's nowhere close. For some of you people who live up in the Northeast, God bless you. I know what it's like to live there. I was born and raised there. In the wintertime, it's really tough. You want to figure out how to wash your car. Maybe you've got a sweet ride. You don't want to go through the car wash with it. You're a car enthusiast, a diehard. You never take your car to the car wash. Okay, that's cool. I get it. There are many methods to be able to wash your car in the wintertime. And by the way, this method can work even in the summertime if you don't want to work in direct sunlight. Well, typically, when we're inside our garage, we can't use free-flowing water, right? This would be great if I could take my garden hose and blast this car. I'm going to get water all over the place. My wife, my girlfriend, she's going to kick me out of the house. This probably isn't the best method. And probably if you're trying to clean your car, say the middle of January in upstate New York or some of the northern states in North Dakota, you're not going to have a hose anyway. The spigot outside you probably turned off and put your hoses away for the winter. Well, another method, if you want to be absolutely crazy, is you can take a paddle washer, right? You can take this happens to be my Karcher 1600 PSI paddle washer. This would be great, right? Washing your car in the garage with this. I guess the point kind of is the same. Your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, whatever, is going to kick you out of the house if you do that. You're going to get water all over the place. Well, for a long time now, we've had this stuff called O&R, this Optimum No Rinse. This is great. I love this stuff. This has changed many people's lives that live in the cold, that want to wash their car in the garage. Well, I know what it's like to live in the Northeast. I know what it's like to live in those northern states, and they put salt all over the road. Now they're using some other type of chemical, and it just leaves this white, it's like a white, dusty debris on your car. It's salt. You want to get it off. So traditionally what some people have to do if they want to use O&R in the wintertime and wash their car in the garage, which is great, you're going to get very little water on the ground, if any. What some may do is take a pump spray or something like this, right? Because you want to kind of pre-soak the panel if you've got a lot of that salt and debris on the car. You don't want to just go right to a rinseless washing because you may scratch the paint. You want to try to get some of that off. So some of you are putting O&R in a pump spray, right? Put it in a pump spray, pump this sucker up, and do a pre-soak on the panel. Well, that's great, that's wonderful, because that's going to start to break down some of that salt, some of that debris on the car before you go in with your big red sponge, or maybe you like the Gary Dean method with your microfiber towel, which I like. It's cool. Thank you, Gary, for doing it. And we also know these things don't apply a lot of pressure. It would be great if these things had enough pressure to kind of pre-soak the panel and flush some of that debris off before we even began to do our rinseless wash. But these pump sprayers don't provide enough pressure to do that. But they can soak the panel down, and that's nice. Guys, I want to introduce you to something I already have, and my mind has gone nuts over the last couple of months. I've been playing with this thing. Guess what? It happens to be, some of you probably follow my channel will know it right away. It is the Worx Hydroshot. What I have done is I have removed the long lance, the long extension, and I just put the nozzle on the end of this gun. I have now lowered the pressure. When I'm siphoning from a bucket, what this tube is going to is a 5-gallon bucket with distilled water in it. You can use distilled water, do whatever you want. It's up to you. But when I put this small lance on and take the long one out, I'm about 70 PSI. Folks, go through this process with me. I'll show you how you can be more effective with your rinseless wash, including this machine. You can wash your car in the garage in the winter. You may even want to do this in the summertime if you don't want to be working outside in direct sunlight, because you're going to get very little water on the floor, but you're going to have a little bit more power to be able to flush that panel off before you go into your rinseless wash. It would look like this. What I can do, guys, is I can take, somebody's going to ask me, hey, can I put O&R in my 5-gallon bucket and just suck it through this machine? Folks, I don't know yet. I'm talking to Worx right now, trying to get some answers on that, so I can't recommend it at the moment. But let's say you wanted to do an O&R wash, a rinseless wash. The panel's dirty, it's got salt all over it, it's January 15th, 2018. You'll take your O&R like in a spray, right? This is your pre-soak or your pre-rinse or whatever they call it. You're going to spray the panel down inside your garage. That's going to start to emulsify and break down some of that salt. If it actually does that, who knows? I don't give a crap. But it's done that. I've got it on the panel. Now what I'm going to do, folks, is take my Hydroshot by Worx. This is going to give me about 72 psi of pressure, much more than a pump sprayer. I'm going to flush that panel off. The amount of water that's going to get on the floor is going to be minimal, but I'll show you a trick if you're worried about any water getting on the floor. So I'm going to go in here and just go like this. I have the nozzle at 15 degrees. I want a little pressure. I want a nice stream. But this little gun right here, I think when you have the long lance hooked up to it, it's only going to allow you to pump through the pump about a half a gallon per minute. When you put the nozzle on it, the shorter nozzle, it lowers the pressure, and also I believe it's less gallons per minute. You have very little water on the ground, but I'll show you a tip here in a minute how to reduce any water on the floor. So I'll go in here and go like this. I have now flushed off that panel. It had O&R on it as a pre-soak. I used my Hydroshot, which is about 72 psi worth of pressure with that short lance. I flushed off a lot of that salt. Now what I'm going to do is take my microfiber towel. I happen to like the Gary Dean method. Take a microfiber towel that's already soaking in a little bucket of your O&R. I'm going to go in here and just slightly go down this panel softly, right back and forth, as Gary has taught us all to do it. I love it, Gary. Thank you so much. I love you. So there I go. I've now removed the debris off the panel, right? Now I'm going to take a microfiber. You choose which one you like. Your big soft plush ones. I don't know what you like. And just go in and dry off the panel. Okay, folks? This is an amazing way because you can't bring in the garden hose in the wintertime. You can't use your 1500 psi power washer. You're going to try to clean off your car and blow things off the shelf in your garage. This thing has got the right, it's like the sweet spot in rinseless washing in the garage, where a pump sprayer doesn't give you enough pressure. A garden hose is way too much pressure, too much water. This is the sweet spot. It may change your life. I just wanted to pass it on to you, especially you folks up in the Northeast, in the Northern Territories. If you want to flush the panel off first before going into your rinseless wash, this may be a game changer for you. You can also, if you want, because you're working in the winter, inside your garage, the water that you're siphoning from this, heat up the water, make it warm, make it a little bit more cozy for you on your hands. You can do that as well. So now I've got a panel that's clean. It's January 15th, 20 below zero. I have very little water on the floor. If you want, you can get a broom with a little rubber squeegee and just push out the very little water that comes out. But I'm going to show you a trick. I've been doing this for a long time, but I'll show you this trick. Watch what's on the floor. Take a look at that. I've got a towel on the floor. You can buy long beach towels for about, I don't know, $1 or $2. Pieces of crap. Maybe you've got a bunch laying around. You can lie three or four down on the side of the car, so any water that comes off the panel gets caught in this towel. This towel right now is slightly damp. I have very little water on it. I can pick this up. My garage floor is completely dry. I'll go wash this in the house, and I am done. I have washed the panel safely in the winter, or even in the summer if you don't want it to work in direct sunlight and you're a fan of rinseless washing. I've washed the panel safely. No water on the floor. I use the machine that gives me more pressure than a pump sprayer. The Worx Hydroshot gives me more pressure to flush the panel off first before I go in with my rinseless washing. Folks, I am in love with this machine. I use it in so many different ways. You guys are probably going to get sick of me by the time I'm done with this. But I've used this machine in so many different ways and it's changed my life. In the summertime, right, I showed you a video on how I can flush the car with distilled water in direct sunlight so I don't get water spots. Well, if it's 110 degrees out like it is in Dallas and I don't want to work in the direct sunlight at all, I can bring my car in the garage, do a rinseless wash with this method, and that works. 72 psi worth of pressure is going to flush more stuff off that panel. So before I even go in with my rinseless wash, I'll have less debris to worry about with scratching the paint. I want to help some of my friends, my family, the ones I love up in the Northeast. I love you all of you in the cold temperatures, the salt that gets stuck on the side of your car. You don't want to take your sweet ride to the car wash. What do you guys think? It's a little out of the box thinking, but this can help you. You'll have no water on the floor. My little trick with the towels. Use those towels all the time if you want. If I didn't have the towel on the floor, I'd have a little bit of water on the floor. I can push it out with a squeegee if I wanted to, or I can leave it on the floor. It will dry. If you have a heated garage, it will dry. If you don't have a heated garage, I'd probably recommend you get it up so it doesn't get slick on you. I love you all. Just wanted to share that crazy little video with you. I hope it helps. It helps me even in Dallas when it's hot. I love all of you. I'll talk to you soon. Be safe.